On a Tuesday, Bryant and Brett with you for the next 3 hours, and we've got a lot of football to talk, got some baseball to talk, NBA opening day today with 2 games on TNT tonight. But like I said, Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios. Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing very well, Bryant, ready to go and ready for another Game 7 tonight. And Game 7 last night was wild to see. There was a point in that game. Well, it was over early, but there was a point late in the game where I was thinking, this is it for Dusty Baker, and I hate it. And it sure feels like it. He just didn't want to kind of steal the moment last night from the Rangers. But it was crushing to see either of those managers have to lose. Bruce Bochy advances, and with that win, we know Bruce Bochy will be the skipper of the American League All-Star team next July in Arlington, home of the Rangers.
That's right. That'll be fun. You're right. That was a good game, a good series between the Astros and the Rangers. And really, I mean, who expected anything less if you went back and had watched any of their series against each other during the season, if you'd gone back and looked at what they had done. I mean, this was a close race in that division. They had some really good games against each other, and we got a fantastic series out of it.
It almost had to finish like that in the closest of it, but for the road team to take every game, that is something. I know it happened in 87 with Cardinals and Twins in the World Series. It happened in 91 with the Twins winning I think the Twins won all the games at home that year over the Braves, but I know it happened in 87, and that was some home field advantage. The Phillies have, I think, the biggest home field advantage right now in baseball, and we'll see if that holds for them tonight. And either the Phillies or the Diamondbacks await the Rangers on Friday night for a World Series deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah, I really, I guess selfishly, I'm hoping the Phillies win tonight because I just think that'll be a more intriguing World Series. I mean, 2 offenses that through the playoffs have been unbelievable to watch, and I would love to see those 2 teams go up against each other. But I wouldn't be mad if the D-backs won tonight. But I got a good feeling about the Phillies.
I do too. I think I know I'm for the Phillies. I know I have more Phillies friends than Diamondbacks friends. Do I have a single Arizona Diamondback friend? I don't think so.
Probably not.
If there's
hard.
If there's one out there, I state your name. But I don't think there. But if Arizona were to win, that's fine. They haven't won it since 2001, and that's the only time they've been in the World Series, and they're trying to get their second in club history. Yeah. And if they do. How about this? If Arizona wins in the 21st century, if they go on and win the World Series, they will have won as many World Series in the 21st century as the Yankees with 2, the Cardinals with 2, more than the Cubs, the same as Houston with 2, more than the Dodgers, more than Atlanta.
Wow. I mean, hard to believe, but you're absolutely right.
Something called the Diamondbacks.
Something called the Diamondbacks, a team that was a kind of a laughingstock a couple years ago when it just seemed like nothing could go right for them, and it was a couple teams up top, and then the Diamondbacks and the Rockies at the bottom of that division. But look at them now; they're a fun team. They've got some young players, they've got some veterans, and they're finding ways to find some wins. And really, I mean, using some players that you would not expect to be big parts of a team one game away from the World Series, and so it's been really fun to watch.
If it's Rangers versus Arizona or Philadelphia, it will be the first time that those teams have ever met in the postseason.
Wow.
You had to get to the World Series really for them to meet in the postseason, and they haven't done that. If it had been the Rangers, if it had been Houston and Philadelphia, that has happened when Houston was back in the American League, a great 1980 NLCS.
Wow. Yeah, but I was talking about kind of getting production from pretty much everybody in their lineup. Tommy Pham was the first person to hit his home run. How do you think his fantasy football team's doing? I was thinking about that
big game,
when he hit that home run. I saw a close up. I said, you know what? I wonder how his fantasy football team is doing. It doesn't seem like he's gotten into any altercations this year about his fantasy football team, which that is
over fantasy football.
Yeah, that's a plus, I guess.
I've seen punches exchanged over fantasy football, so that's not unusual. unusual.
No, not unusual at all. But I mean, you don't really see it much between professional baseball players. But
median income. $8 million?
Hey, maybe a lot on the line there, Brett.
Could
you
be.
Never know. I mean,
who knows
pot.
what their end of the year party's like?
Exactly. Maybe a
That's
big
right.
pot for the winner.
Could be a big old pot.
That's right. So I'm not mad at the cheaters, but yeah, it should be a good game tonight. Philly and Arizona, a couple young guys going, or I should say a young guy going, and a kind of an inconsistent Ranger Suarez for the Phillies, but then the young guy, Brandon Pfaadt, however you say his last name.
Fat.
He will
P-F-A-A-D-T.
There you go, nailed it. So
I'm telling you, it sounds like somebody with the Department of Transportation that can pull you over and write you a citation for something.
It really
for pulling
does.
a trailer or something.
Oh yeah,
I'm with the P-F-A-A-D-T.
That's right. Yeah,
yes,
like
sir.
a
Is there
big
problem
old
officer?
acronym or something.
Yeah.
But both of these guys have really been. It's kind of funny when you look at what they've done in the playoffs and then what they've done in the regular season. Pfaadt in the playoffs, he's 0-0 with a 2.13
12 innings
ERA.
pitched.
12 innings pitched. In the regular season, he was 3-9 with a 5.72 ERA. On the other side for Ranger Suarez, he's 1-0 with a .64 ERA this postseason. Regular season, he was 4-6 with a 4.18 ERA. So, I mean, these guys maybe turning it on right when they needed to turn it on.
And Ranger Suarez I'm going to go out there and bet if he gets to the World Series, and he will start a game, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
At minimum, he'll pitch.
I think so, yeah.
If we ever had a first name of somebody by the name of the other team.
Oh, wow. Good catch by you. I mean, I can't think of anybody.
In baseball, I mean, maybe was there a Cardinal Jones that ever pitched?
Brett, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea.
Pirate Dacus?
No, I don't think so.
Marlon Norsworthy?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. That would be fun.
That is,
Didn't even think about that.
that'll send the baseball ref people digging more.
Now I'm even more cheering for the Phillies tonight, just because I want to see that happen.
And some goofy stuff can happen in playoff baseball.
It really can, but I was
That's
happy.
baseball, Brian.
That's baseball, but I was happy for the Rangers last night. And
I am too.
And a former Cardinal being kind of their go-to guy.
I wonder at what point did their clubbies, their locker room people, put up the protective plastic and stuff and seal everything off from everything just being drowned in champagne and booze, because they put it up a little early in Game 6 in 2011 in St. Louis.
Yeah. Speaking of 2011, I knew there was going to be so much talk about that 2011 team that I wore my Texas Rangers shirt for that I got when I was like 10.
Very tight fitting across the
very top. Yes, Brett. It's
top.
It's a youth large. That I cannot wear youth larges, of course.
Well,
anymore.
you were a youth and you were large,
and so I pulled this out. If you can see the back, I don't know if I can turn far enough so you can see
Josh Hamilton,
my Josh Hamilton jersey.
that 2-iron shot he hit out.
He's my all-time favorite player.
Sent me to my knees. Dave saw it.
Oh man, I mean, look.
I went to the concrete at Busch Stadium.
At one point, I was a Rangers fan, and then they did Josh Hamilton dirty. And I realized I can't watch this team on television because this was before MLB.TV, all of that stuff.
You came over.
So I was baseball agnostic, I guess you could say, for a while, and I was just watching baseball.
Then you made a really good life decision.
Then I went to a Cardinals game, and it changed my life, Brett.
I don't know if it's up there with meeting Melinda, but I mean, it was a good life decision.
Might be better. You never know. I mean,
I don't know if I throw that out there. And we're trying to woo Johnny Hill over.
That's
Johnny's
right.
with us. We're trying to woo Johnny over. We need Cardinal fans.
Except I don't know. Johnny's been watching the Braves a lot this postseason when they were still standing.
Well, here's the deal.
Here's
what I would tell Johnny. Like I tell a lot of my Braves fans, I bet it's great from April to 1st October.
Yeah, it's how much fun is it after then, especially this year?
Yeah, not as much.
Not much fun. No, not at all. But it should be a fun game tonight. I'm really excited. If Game 7 tonight is anywhere close to what happened last night, even though it was a blowout, the game was so fun to watch. Seeing Adolis Garcia, and then of course after Adolis Garcia hit 2 home runs, I guess, last night. How many home runs did he end up finishing with? I don't even remember. But then all the tweets started coming out from Jeff Passan and people that cover the Cardinals talking about how he got to Texas and his journey, which is really remarkable. I know a lot of people, Cardinals fans, get a little
Cardinals
upset
everywhere
about it. Cardinals everywhere. But it really is a great story.
Memphis
for
Redbirds everywhere.
Memphis Redbirds. Well, they said now. Like so Adolis Garcia and oh man, who was the other one? I'm blanking.
For what team?
Rosarena, Randy Rosarena.
Uh-huh.
They were both teammates with the Redbirds and both came up massively in the playoffs for their teams.
They didn't miss Tommy Pham by much.
No,
with
they
the
did not.
Redbirds.
You're right with that. So Tommy Pham, another one. I mean, there's plenty.
And that's where Tommy Pham got the nickname around the ballpark, Big League Tommy Pham. He was just too big for AAA.
That's too bad. A little too big league, but that happens sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. Well, in the end, you know what? He was right.
He
right. He belonged in the show.
You're right. He came up big last night with a home run to start the scoring yesterday.
But you still, when media relations ask you to go over and have your picture taken with St. Jude children, even though you're on your way to the big leagues and you deserve to be there, you could be obliging enough to go over and do it.
Brett, that should just be something you should want to do. I mean,
you really kind of should. But even if you're such a and you don't, you still let it rise above and go, okay, it's St. Jude children and their parents. I don't want to, but I'm going to go over.
Yes.
And when they say smile, I'm going to smile.
That's a remarkable story. That's insane.
But you're right. Out of the box, you should kind of really want to do that.
You should. But, hey, I guess different people out there. Opening night tonight in the NBA, Brett, we've got two games, both on TNT. Lakers Nuggets are going to start us off, an early one in Denver.
And it's even better with big game Tommy Pham. So out of the box, he wouldn't.
Okay.
He wouldn't rise above it and go over doing it. And in turning down the person, expletive deleted them.
Oh, that's lovely. Well,
that's big game Tommy Pham.
Sorry for interrupting. I've never been a Tommy Pham fan, but I certainly won't be after hearing that. That's despicable. But changing to maybe a lighter tone than that.
Only one way to go.
I guess so. It's only up from there.
Tough transition.
No, it's okay. Quite all right. Two games tonight. An early one in Denver, a 6:30 tip our time. So that'll be, a 4:30 tip in Denver? That's crazy. Or is Denver Mountain Time? Would they be 5:30?
I think Zany Mountain.
I hope Mountain Time.
Some of them don't change when we change in a few weeks. I don't think Arizona does. Man, I don't ever know what time it is out there.
Time difference. So they're only an hour behind us. So it'll be 5:30. So not as bad as like a middle of the afternoon
happy hour tip.
Yeah, really. So that'll start us. Right now, Denver about a 5-point favorite. 9 p.m., we get Suns Warriors. Some injuries in that game. Draymond Green's not going to play. Bradley Beal, highly unlikely that he'll play tonight. But I think two really good games to start
already.
Already? No, I think one's got a knee, the other's got a back or something like that. So hopefully not load management game one, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. And a lot of festivities in Denver tonight. Banners coming down, rings going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope it doesn't hurt the Lakers' feelings.
Well, the Lakers were already ready for this game. They already had shots for Denver at media days 4 weeks ago.
I love the media day shots.
Yeah, so we'll get to see it all play out tonight, I guess. And
we will
see what happens.
Have we had the release of the Michael Parsons podcast? That's a Tuesday drop, isn't it?
I don't know, Brett.
See, I got drop in there.
Brett, you did. Yeah, you're hip.
Thank you.
I don't know because I did see somewhere that Micah Parsons was talking about the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce situation.
I can't wait to hear this. This could be really good.
And he was basically saying that they're better, or he's better when she's in attendance, and I think that was from his podcast. So maybe his podcast is on Monday nights. And we just hear all about it on Tuesday, maybe,
like Jerry's media availability.
Exactly. We all hear about it the next.
I know
day.
he's glad. I know Michael Parsons is glad San Francisco got beat.
Well, him and me both, Brett. What a crazy game that was.
Here's one thing that still doesn't change, though.
Okay.
When the Cowboys actually played the 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, you just had to shoot me down, didn't you, Brett?
Still 42-10.
Yeah, it happened. But, hey, maybe this 49ers team is a different team, Brett. Wait till we see them again.
And we'll see if something is happening, a sports, pop culture, run that ends. Has Brock Purdy, do you think there's any way Brock Purdy is becoming the NFL's version of Linsanity?
Wow.
Well, Jeremy Lin had a good 3-4 week run.
He sure did. Wow.
And then poof, it was over.
Yeah, it was over. I go back and I know they've done ESPN's done a documentary about it. I think there's been a book written about it. There's a lot about that time,
yes.
And I always forget because I was young.
Has it been a Broadway play?
Good question, maybe. But I was young when that happened. Not super young, but I was in middle school, I think, and so I did not realize how short of a stint. Yes, I was. I didn't realize how short of a stint it was for Linsanity because
blink and it was over.
Time seemed much longer when I was younger, and so I didn't realize. And I was last year maybe they did the documentary and they were talking about it and they were a month, and I was like, wait, a month? No. It was a year and a half, and
it all happened and was over in the month of February
before it even started. That's crazy. So hey, maybe you're right, but Brock Purdy has not looked great these last two games.
Has he been figured out?
Maybe. I guess your guess is as good as mine, Brett. I couldn't tell you. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers, will join us. We'll talk about Saturday's game, the win over UAB to bring the Bones back. It will also get to his thoughts on this weekend's game against North Texas. At 3:45, we'll talk some more baseball and talk about this game tonight, Game 7, and what to expect in the World Series. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville will join us to talk college football. At 4:30, we'll get to what we're certain about in the NFL and college football after another weekend of games. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us to talk everything that happened in the NFL over the weekend. At 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. At 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios, and they've got the closeout sale going on right now only at Family Leisure. They need your help to clear out their overstock inventory. Select patio sets up to 50% off. Play gyms under $2,000. The extended sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Winter pool closing items up to 30% off. Pool tables, game room items up to $700 off of their in-stock inventory for those pool tables and game room items. They've also got saunas, massage chairs, arcades, and theater seating, all free delivery, and their special financing still available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Thank you so much to everyone part of the Family Leisure family out there at Whitten Road. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Billy. And we are Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Johnny Hill with us as well. And this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. 2600 Ridgeway for the one and only Lexus dealership in town. You can go online to lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673, but get by and look at all the great offers on all the remaining 2023s and the 2024 starting to roll in. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, Brett, you kind of mentioned it when we were talking a second ago, but that game last night, Monday Night Football, I don't think anybody saw it going that way. I think a lot of people thought the 49ers would bounce back, and
I had the Vikings.
And wait, you did. Did you have them winning straight up though, Brett?
I don't remember.
Oh, I don't remember either. But
I don't think so.
No, I don't. I mean, hey, I don't want to speak for you. But the Vikings came out and really played like the better team. They were doing a lot of different things to try to be aggressive against this 49ers defense, and they were ultra aggressive. Offensive line from Minnesota gave up 0 sacks last night to that San Francisco defense. We always talk about the San Francisco defense playing so well and being an aggressive defense. but they were not active at all last night. 22-17, Minnesota wins. Kirk Cousins, 378 yards on 34 for 45 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Jordan Addison, what a game from the rookie, 123 yards on 7 receptions, also added 2 touchdowns. And one of those touchdowns, Kirk Cousins threw a ball up. It looked like it was going to be an interception. Jordan Addison just ripped it away from him and ran untouched into the end zone. A wild play, but a really good win for the Minnesota Vikings that are now 3-4. San Francisco, 2 losses in a row, back-to-back losses to the Browns, and now the Vikings, they're now 5-2. Christian McCaffrey played but only 45 yards on 15 carries. He did have a touchdown to extend that touchdown streak that he's on. I see only 1. I don't remember if he had another one or not. Brock Purdy, 272 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. That last interception came at a really costly time towards the end of the game when they were trying to maybe have that one last drive to go and win the game. Throws the ball over the middle and it gets picked off, and that's the end of the game. But a great win for the Vikings.
Touchdown receiving and a touchdown rushing for McCaffrey.
There you go, yes.
So he did get to the end zone twice. But now real questions around the 49ers. They went from invincible to a lot of questions around them. My top story tonight begins the 77th NBA season. All the action in Memphis gets started tomorrow night. 2 games tonight with possibly the Western Conference Final Four all playing tonight. Champs on banner-dropping ring night for first time ever in Denver. And that makes the Lakers mad. Possibly the best player in the NBA right now, Nikola Jokic, playing tonight against quite possibly the 1 or 2 best player to ever play the game in LeBron James. Phoenix at Golden State on TNT late. Here's how I think the West win. We'll go through it all tomorrow. But I think it'll be Denver 1, Phoenix 2, Lakers 3, Golden State 4. They're all playing tonight. We'll see come April if that's how it looks.
Not top story of the day.
Well, I'm going to stick right there with my not top story of the day. Things really get rolling tomorrow when we have a ton of action in the NBA.
12 games.
12 games, including the Grizzlies, including a pair of games on ESPN. So tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun seeing a lot of these teams. But tonight, we've got the doubleheader and 4 marquee teams for 2 marquee games. Like you said, Lakers and Nuggets kick us off at 6:30 our time on TNT. The defending champions, they'll raise the banner, they'll get their rings, and they'll get the Lakers in Game 1. A Lakers team that have been very vocal at media days about what they really think of this Denver Nuggets team and how they feel disrespected by this group of Nuggets. So after we get that,
you next time.
we're going to get you. And now we'll see if they'll get them. And then later in the night, we've got Suns and Warriors. Kevin Durant goes back to the Bay and back to the Warriors team that he won a finals with and was a finals MVP for. What will be that reception for him going back for the first time? Will it be positive? I'm sure it will be negative. And what is this new look Suns team? It doesn't look like we'll get Bradley Beal tonight, but what does this team look like without him? With kind of the first full season we get of the Suns with Kevin Durant. And then on the other side, Chris Paul, now a Warrior. What does he look like with Steph Curry in that backcourt? Very intriguing game in that nightcap.
Who are you for in those 2 games tonight?
Nuggets and Suns.
Same.
Yeah.
Very same here from me. Not top story. 1 wild card team already in the World Series, and Arizona can join them. And new carpet is currently being installed in the visitors' clubhouse from the Wild Champagne celebration at Minute Maid Park. Arizona can pull the same tonight in Philly in a Game 7 with the remarkable upset win. Bruce Bochy is in the playoffs, or in the World Series. He awaits either Torey Lovullo or John Schneider to join him, and one of those 2 will be the manager of the National League All-Star team next July in Dallas. We know Bruce Bochy and that big old jug he has will be introduced out to the line next Friday night in the World Series and next summer in the All-Star game.
Yeah, no. Game 7 is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what happens tonight. It's been such a back-and-forth series. Both of them were back-and-forth series, and we'll see who will meet the Rangers in the World Series. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk Tiger football with Dave Woloshin.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Be sure to schedule your delivery for the next game at hogsfly.com or come visit us in the alley.
Old school jewelry stores here in Memphis don't like what Genesis Diamonds is doing, but regular folks here are asking what took Genesis so long to get here. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis Diamonds is a game changer. More selection, higher quality, extreme value prices like you never knew existed, top designers, non-commission experts, and ironclad warranties. Genesis is the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. The owners are Tennesseans. They've dominated the jewelry scene in Nashville for nearly 20 years. Their store here at Poplar and Perkins Extended will blow your mind. Diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, thousands of engagement rings, colored gemstone jewelry. It's a jewelry superstore with no pressure, no games, and no phony pricing. Also, you've got to see their amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Pristine watches in pristine condition, value priced. They have all the hard-to-find models in stock. So what are you waiting for? Hit up Genesis Diamonds in Poplar Commons at Poplar and Perkins Extended. You're going to thank me for this.
If you want a deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, because we've got Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days still going strong. If you're looking to save up to $12,000 off a new ride, we got it covered. Right now, take your pick. 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit 4-wheel drive or 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $12,000 off MSRP. And 2023 Wagoneer L Series 111 4x4, $10,000 off MSRP. And if we don't have what you're looking for, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Wagoneer PS5 64,158, MSRP 117,430. Cherokee P88 76 88.9, MSRP 80,205. Gladiator PL 509 834, MSRP 68,815. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck, because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
It's football time in Memphis, and if you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, it sure better be home selling time in Memphis. And just like you may have a favorite team, favorite coach, or favorite players, you may not have a favorite real estate agent. If you don't, think about drafting me, Sheldon Rosengarten, with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I always tell people they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers to find out who will be the best quarterback of their home selling team. Have you heard people say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon? Find out why my award-winning, highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. Also find out how to take advantage of our worldwide relocation network. Call or email me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, and go Tigers.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD is on the scene of a couple of minor accidents out here in the last few minutes. Actually, it looks pretty good right now on 240 East from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. We've just checked that for you. Traffic still looks good. Lamar going outbound right when you come off 240, headed down towards Olive Branch. Traffic still looks good also to the south on 55, south of Memphis down into DeSoto County. Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. 7525 Highway 64. Go by and see them. Weimer's Jewelry. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Let's welcome longtime voice of the Tigers and host of Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings at 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Dave Woloshin to talk Tigers football and basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Dave Woloshin joins us now, the voice of the Tigers. You can also hear him every single morning during Wolo and Friends. Dave, thanks so much for joining us, and let's start with what happened in Birmingham. Kind of a tough start for the Tigers. The defense missing tackles, couldn't really buy a stop early in the game, but things turn around at halftime. Tigers look much better in the second half, and they bring the bones back to Memphis. What did you make of that game in Birmingham?
Well, I didn't make very much the first half, but I came away impressed with the second half. I don't know what it is. It was so much like the Navy game, and when you talk to Ryan Sofield about it, I mean, he's saying the same thing. The reason they gave up 21 points, UAB scored 3 of their first 4 possessions. The first one was 3 plays, 75 yards, like a minute. No. And it wasn't schematic. It was strictly they were not tackling. And then I don't know what Matt Barnes says to them. They did become a little bit more cognizant of the scheme that UAB was running, because remember, UAB did not start their starting quarterback. They used their second, third, and fourth string quarterback. Sometimes they were running 3 different quarterbacks out in the same series. Once Memphis got used to that, got the proper angles, they tackled incredibly well in the second half, and you go from giving up 332 yards to 49 yards. I mean, go figure. They played excellently in the second half. They got another 100-yard running game out of Blake Watson. Hennigan was accurate. He was much more sure of himself in the pocket, and the Tigers did what they were supposed to do. In fact, even better than they were supposed to do. If you look at lines, and they dominated the second half and won going away.
Dave, I'm with you, and I do think, and I can't prove this with data. It's just pure my speculation. But I do think that 11 o'clock game for the visitor is a little bit of a slumber. It's a little bit of hitting the snooze button.
Well, good news. The Tigers' next games are at 2 o'clock.
That's right.
So, we know that. North Texas, Saturday, 2 o'clock, and then the South Florida homecoming game also will be 2 o'clock. I really don't know. I think some of it, there's some gamesmanship going on. You know, and I know. Coaches, if we were to categorize them, we would have to say, for the most part, if we were talking in psychological criteria, coaches, for the most part, are paranoid lots. They don't trust anything or anybody. They may see something, but they still don't believe it. Well, I can understand why with what Trent Dilfer did with the Tigers before that game in new, by the way, very nice Protective Stadium in Birmingham. So he brings out Jacob Zeno, who is a very good quarterback, 4th in the NCAA in completion rate. And, he's thrown for almost 2,000 yards in the 6 or 7 games they played. He comes out for warm-ups, got his helmet on, and nobody knows anything different. And then, right before the game starts, there's Jacob Zeno in street clothes, concussion protocol. No one knew. 5 minutes before the game, the SID tweeted out Zeno would not be available to play in the game. So I can kind of understand now why these coaches are so paranoid, because they're not honest with one another. And so Memphis was not ready to face the second, third, and fourth string quarterback. They were ready to face Jacob Zeno. And with the way the warm-ups went, you thought Jacob Zeno was coming out.
Dave, a box score anomaly for sure. UAB wins the rushing battle. UAB wins the passing battle, but the turnovers, the big difference. This year in AAC games, the team that wins the rushing battle is winning the game ultimately at a 74% clip. The team that wins the passing battle winning games at a 72% clip. It is really narrow in the AAC this year.
Well, what's the margin of victory if, let's say, you're +2 in giveaway takeaway?
I agree, and I asked that yesterday. We had Jonah Dillon on from the CA. I would love to know in college football when you get a pick six or scoop and score, or even a punt return or a kickoff return, and you don't allow one. I wonder what your percentage of winning that game is. It's got to be up there big.
It's got to be. Well, let me put it to you like this. I would like to see, because, I do this every week. I look at giveaway and takeaway. Coming into that game, UAB was +2 giveaway takeaway, and Memphis was minus on the year now because of what happened in the Tulane game. Now Memphis is +2 on the year because they were +4 in that game, and they didn't turn the ball over. I would say, I don't know this number to be a fact, Brett, but I would bet you if anybody is +4 in a game, they've won that game 93% of the time. How's that?
You have to. I mean, I would bet with you. I would not bet against you because there are just some things that are you're unable to overcome, and I think that would be coughing it up 4 times.
Yeah, and that was definitely the key to both the last 2 games. Memphis turned the ball over those 3 terrible times in that game against Tulane, and 2 times on those picks. One was a terrible pick, and then the big mistake was the uppercut to the Family Jewels, which cost you time and field position. So those were huge mistakes, and Tulane made none. And then here's a 21-21 game at the half, and UAB made all the mistakes. Memphis did not, and Memphis won going away.
Well, speaking of the turnovers, I was shocked, and we talked about this with Jonah yesterday. I was shocked that Simeon Blair, that was his first career interception on Saturday against UAB.
I would have bet against that.
I would have bet against that as well. But when you look at him, a transfer, and then you look at a guy like Chandler Martin, who's leading the team in tackles, Diego Brumfield, there's a handful of guys on the defense that are transfers from this last offseason. What have those transfers meant to this defense?
Oh, it meant everything. Chandler Martin is by far, in a way, the leading tackler on the Memphis team. Now, let's be honest about some of this, right? When you're looking at the leading tackler of a team, you've got to look at the scheme and the way a defensive coordinator sets things up. So if you look, I think the 1, 3, and 5 leading tacklers for the University of Memphis are all linebackers.
Yeah.
That's the scheme that Matt Barnes has is, the defensive linemen are supposed to clog things up and allow the linebackers or a safety to come up and make the tackle. So that's the way it works. But Chandler Martin has been terrific. There is no question about that. He's been the key, one of the key transfers on this team, offense or defense. Simeon Blair, you got to be a pretty good football player to be captain of your team, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
He was one of the captains on that team. So I was shocked when I saw that was his first collegiate interception. But it was. It was perfectly played by him. It was a poor throw by the UAB quarterback. No doubt about that, too.
Dave, as we wind down October, Tigers are pretty good favorite on the road, 7.5 on the road in Denton. Old Missouri Valley Conference game. Been a long time since these two have played as conference brethren against each other. Don't you think this would kind of suffice for every coach, every team, every fan base out there, especially if things are rolling along pretty well? And it is for the 5-2 Memphis Tigers. The rest of the year, I think here's what you would want: no injuries, no turnovers, and let however it falls out, fall out.
I think if that happens, no turnovers, and everybody that's playing now is going to be playing in that last game against Temple in Philly.
You're 10-2
after Thanksgiving. I think you've got a really good chance of running the table. I really do.
Yeah, I'd have to
the turnovers are big, I think Memphis, for the most part. Look, I didn't realize this, so I heard it at the press conference yesterday. but Memphis leads the country in consecutive games of over 20 points. I did not realize that.
Great.
They have had 21 straight games scoring at least 20 points. That's number one in the country, according to ESPN Game Day. And I believe it.
I do too. And that simple math, it gives you a shot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're in a lot of games putting 20 up.
Wait, let's just say this year they're averaging over 36 points a game, right?
Yeah.
So if you score 36, because
Yeah.
your guys are all there, and you
should win
don't
a lot
turn the
of
ball
games.
over, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Talking to Dave Woloshyn, the voice of the Tigers. Dave, we got to get to some basketball because Sunday we've got our first exhibition for the Tigers against Lane College. And I know you'll see on social media or people talking after exhibition games about kind of what the takeaways from the game, lineup, who's playing with who's playing well. When you're at these games, do you take anything away from these exhibitions, or is it just the guys out there and the coaches kind of working through the guys getting ready for the regular season?
Oh, I just want to see the team.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've never ever been in a situation before, ever in any. And I've been watching college basketball as a student broadcaster or whatever since 1971. So you do the math. That's a long time. That's basically 52 years of watching this, and I can't ever remember getting ready to do a basketball season and there's only two guys left from the team the year before.
Crazy.
That's nuts. So I've seen Jalen Young before, but, he was playing for UCF.
Right.
I've seen Nick Jourdain before, but he was playing for Temple. I've seen Caleb Mills before, but he was playing for Florida State. I've seen Jaquan Walton before. He was playing for Wichita State. I watched Javon Quinterly in Tuscaloosa last year playing for Alabama. I mean, that's nuts stuff, right? All these guys are brand new to wearing a uniform, let alone Jordan Brown, who's probably going to be the starter at center. Never seen him play before. You got Carl Sharonfont. He's a freshman that's obviously pretty good. J.J. Taylor, freshman that is pretty good. Noah Stansbury's the coach's son. I don't know how much he'll play, but, he came from Western Kentucky where his dad had been the head coach. This kind of stuff, it's wild. So I'm looking forward to seeing this team because I've never seen them before in a Memphis uniform.
Dave, you've been around college basketball so long that one time in a very famous between the break dust up, not between me and you properly got that Jay Scheidler was from Illinois.
Oh yeah.
You remember that, Donnybrook?
Yeah, I do, and I remember that because I knew Jay Scheidler. Because I
know you did. He's from Lawrenceville, Illinois, and of course Wait. He's the first basketball player I ever knew that actually bleached his hair. Yeah, the blonde bomber.
That's how I knew. I remembered it.
And he wasn't and I get dragged into it to kind of be the settler of it. And where's he from? I said, Lawrenceville, Illinois.
Oh. And did I ever get an apology for that, by the
way? And I got dragged into it.
Yikes. Yikes.
It was great.
No, it sounds like it. I was just thinking about this, Dave. Dave,
well, I'm glad you didn't go golf tournament in Paul Hartledge with me.
Oh, jeez.
Dave, you told me to quit bringing that up, and I haven't.
Now Dave's bringing it
up. With the late Mike Fleming, I guess we can't really talk.
Good Lord.
Of course, I was the provocateur in that one. I said, get him, Dave.
You were.
Oh, no, Brett. Oh.
Well, I always forgot you were egging on, if you recall.
Yeah, and when it was all over, you very calmly go, you didn't help matters.
Didn't help at all. Good Lord, Brett.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, Dave, on that note, thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
I'll talk to you in the morning.
Don't forget that tomorrow you'll be able to hear Brett Instigator Northworthy.
That's right. Good Lord.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it.
You got it, man. Oh, me. We've been around.
It sounds like it. I mean, instigating all around, Brett.
And Jay Scheidler's freshman year at Kentucky was one of those shooting star years, too. And he ended up being a lot better story and personality than he was actual player.
One of my favorite things that I'm excited about for this basketball season, it made me think about it when Dave was talking about seeing all of these guys playing, but he hadn't seen them play together. That Antoine Jones, former Memphis Tiger Antoine Jones, is still playing college basketball, and he's going to be on UCF's team this year, which is hilarious because he's been around. And
he has been around. So Memphis, Creighton,
Louisiana, and then a short stint at a community college, I just learned.
So
and,
4 D1 places.
Yeah, this will be 4th D1 place. Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
So I was shocked to know that he's still playing basketball. I think he was with the team last year when Memphis played against them, but had to sit out because of eligibility matters. But he'll be playing this year, so that's a former Tiger to keep an eye on, I guess.
How much and how close are you to revealing when we do college basketball predictions to a Final Four? Have you narrowed it down?
Well, I have money on Arizona winning the whole thing, so I guess I'll stick with that.
I think I would, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I like Arizona this year. No,
I don't have them in my 4, Brian.
Brett,
which probably is good for your cash.
I've tried to be strong because there's no coming back if I just dive all into college basketball. But I'm starting to break down, Brett. There's been a lot of exhibitions this week on ESPN Plus and stuff that I've been watching. It's starting to break me, Brett.
And one thing I don't like about mine, I say all this to say I have Creighton in my Final Four.
I think that's a good pick. I think Creighton's going to be really good this year.
But I don't like how it's going to – I got too many teams that are in the same neighborhood and come bracketing and regionality, they're not going to be there.
Do you have Florida Atlantic in your Final Four?
I do not.
That's too bad. Do you got Duke?
I do not.
All right, that's all I need to know, Brett. I was curious.
I have Arkansas.
Do you really? I think that's a really good pick. Old team, a lot of transfers coming in, older guys with experience. I like that.
To win it all.
Whoa! All right. I didn't see that. I bet Arkansas fans are happy to hear that after what this football season has turned into. They are certainly ready for basketball. Well, that's a shocker on a Tuesday afternoon. But let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little more baseball. Might have to talk some college basketball after that bombshell, but we'll talk baseball, tonight's game, and also a look forward to what we could see in the World Series. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at Drive Max. Drive Max. Drive Max. You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? Drive Max has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
Drive Max. I got approved.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your big green egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
At Sissy's Log Cabin, you'll find only spectacular natural diamonds that will remain treasured for generations. That promise is now symbolized by the engraved Sissy signature and sapphire, representing our guarantee of extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience the Sissy's promise for yourself. Find a jeweler for a lifetime, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500, G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett in our Family Leisure Studios. And we got to talk about this game tonight between the Phillies and the D-backs. Game 7, who would have thought, especially after both these series went 2-0, that we would have not one Game 7, but 2 Game 7s, both series going to a Game 7. We had the first one last night where the Rangers claimed their spot to the World Series. We'll have Game 2 tonight against the D-backs and the Phillies. I think it's the Phillies to win, or I think it's the Phillies to lose, honestly. I mean, I think they should win this game, but I thought that yesterday. I thought the D-backs would win yesterday as well, and it didn't happen, so really anything can happen.
Pressure really on the Phillies, I think more so than Arizona, both with preseason expectations where they finished last year and at home, for what that's been worth. Right, man, it used to really matter to be that team that got to bat in the bottom of that ninth.
Oh, yeah. It did, but now, I mean, you're just seeing some of these offenses, especially what we've seen, really what we just saw yesterday. I mean, you saw the D-backs come up and put up a 3 spot that early in the game that the Phillies could never come back from. In that later game, you see the Rangers, go up, 7-1, 7-0 early in the game, and the Astros just could never come back. I mean, you're seeing this power really break games open early to where it doesn't much matter who's got the bat the bottom of the inning. Even though Houston kind of scared some people, I think, last night, scored a run or two in that final inning, and people thought, well, this could get a little crazy, but it didn't. But it's a different game.
I've had a blast watching these games, watching this postseason. Yeah. To think Texas was playing in that first game of the first day as decided underdogs to Tampa Bay, to the Rays. And I do think this gives Rays fans some safe harbor of, okay, look, we got in the way of inevitability. We got in the way of a great story. It was bigger than us. We couldn't stop it, and they didn't, and the Rangers are having this good run. I texted you Friday night that I thought last Friday was one of the great days in the history of baseball playoffs.
Oh, absolutely.
Those 2 games, and I hope people are watching, and I hope it's a good number Friday night for Game 1 of the World Series, because they really kind of have the floor to themselves. But when baseball, even up against college football, here's the college football TV ratings numbers from the weekend.
Okay.
Penn State, Ohio State, almost 10 million viewers. That's just great. And again, that's something that kicked off at 11 o'clock on the graveyard of TV watching days, Saturdays. Alabama and Tennessee, about a little over 8 million. So Penn State, Ohio State got the third Saturday in October by 2 million. Duke, FSU third. Michigan State fourth. Utah, USC fifth. Texas, Houston sixth. Oregon and Washington State eighth, and then UCF, Oklahoma, and then Ole Miss and Auburn. It drew 1.8.
Wow. So,
Mississippi State and Arkansas drew 1.2 million.
Really?
Going up against Penn State and Ohio State and that game.
Wow. That's incredible. That really is.
That game that caused nosebleeds.
But hey, I mean, that just shows kind of where college football is right now. I mean, it's just
it really is in a good spot.
It's in a really, really good spot.
We're on and we must run it.
We got to find something to run. It's going to be the situation at Michigan, the sign stealing. That's what's gonna ruin it. You know.
But tonight will be fun watching baseball.
Yeah.
You know, the NBA will have viewers, but baseball should win that TV ratings battle tonight.
I think so. I mean, Game 7 with the D-backs winning yesterday and you know, what happens in Philly, that environment, I mean, you would think, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
NFL ratings, Chargers, Chiefs, 25 million viewers.
Man, I mean, it's
Dolphins, Eagles, 20 million.
It's a completely different game when you start talking about NFL and what they're bringing in. It's crazy. But let's go ahead, wrap up this hour, and get to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk college football with Brent Beard.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. What's the Genesis secret? Our owner was born and raised in the diamond industry in Tel Aviv. After selling wholesale to high-end jewelry retailers for years, he hated the insane markups they were getting away with. So he stopped selling to the stores and started selling direct to the public. That philosophy is still a core part of Genesis DNA as we continue to sell the highest quality diamonds at true no middleman direct importer prices. With international connections and massive buying power, Genesis has what it takes to beat anyone else's price every day on every diamond. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar & Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Hey, in New York, right now I'm looking at all of the unders for Jets' offensive numbers. Passing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards. I'm looking at all of the unders in New York. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win, FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase. All 36-month leases and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE 678 6055, MSRP 21610, Nero P5017859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP 49687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Colette's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Colette's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Colette's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Colette's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Colette's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Colette's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Colette's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's really starting to pick up right on schedule for this time of the afternoon. I-40 over here at Chelsea as that traffic builds out of Midtown. It's moving right now on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. Starting to pick up also with just a little bit more volume. No surprise really on 240 here up by Poplar. Hey, if you get hurt in a car crash, call 901 Attorneys right here in Memphis. They're online, 901attorneys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joining us now from First Coast News in Jacksonville. Brent, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start by getting your thoughts on this Michigan situation, the sign stealing scandal. We're getting more and more information. Now they're saying that they have proof he bought tickets and was in attendance for, I think, 11 games last year for opposing Big Ten teams. We're starting to hear other coaches talk about it, and a lot of what I've heard, at least, other coaches are saying, it happens. You just got to be, a better team and not let that stop you from winning games. But what do you make of this whole Michigan situation?
Not much, frankly, Brian. Nothing's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
It gives us something to talk about, but the reality is, listen, I'll give Dion credit for this. They asked him about the Michigan sign stealing, and he said, you can have someone else's whole game plan. They mail it to you, but you still got to stop it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's what I said about the Astros in the sign stealing. They still had to knock the ball over the boards.
That's right.
You know how hard that is?
Yeah, very hard. Yeah, absolutely it is. But I mean, look, guys, this is good fodder, and people don't trust Harbaugh, and
That's it, Brent. This is a Harbaugh attack. If
sure
this
is.
were the coach at Fresno State, who cares?
No, nobody. But still, I mean, ponder this a minute. Even if Harbaugh came out and said, okay, Yeah, we did a little bit of this, which he's not going to do. I mean, guys, right now, and we just saw this with basketball results, even when the FBI was involved. I know that's a little apples and oranges thing, but I mean, even if they came in and said, "Yeah, we did," what would they do? I mean, they're not going to throw them off TV. They're not going to ban them from postseason. That would they take a scholarship or two away? I mean, well, maybe. But
they're not going to forfeit wins.
Yeah. But if the NCAA at this point, and I get the question, it's a good question, Bryant, but the NCAA right now really is not going to do a whole lot against anybody. I can assure you, nobody in Michigan's sweating this.
And Michigan is one of those places that they have the clout. If it got too heavy and back channel to their compliance department, we're going to make you forfeit games. We're going to call it an NC record book, a loss. Michigan's one of those places that can go up yours.
Yeah, sure they could. Oh, yeah. And what would Harbaugh do, Bryant? He just, if it got a little sticky, would he just go back to the NFL?
Here's the legitimate comeback to up yours. Come spring, and it's really the biggest thing they control.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell us to stick it. Come spring, Michigan probably should be a 2 seed. Have fun as an 11 seed.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And those pinheads are small enough to do it, to be like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or how about this? How about this? Michigan thinks they're not on the bubble. They think they're firmly in, and during the bracket reveal, they're nowhere to be found.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the other thing with this is, as in most NCAA investigations, how long is it going to take to get this done?
Now that's
years, because they all get paid by the hour at the NCAA.
Sure they do. This will be, and just because it's Harbaugh, people are paying attention to it. But I guess my question, Brent, now you say this all the time. How much of a shelf life really does this story have?
Not long. We'll be moved on to something by, 2 weeks from now?
If not before.
I really thought it would have been smoked out by now, but it hadn't. You've got 2 weeks in a row of covering college football that really people could and should envy. Last Saturday, you were in Tuscaloosa for third Saturday in October. This Saturday, you'll be high above TIAA Field, the Gator Bowl, for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's a good 2 weeks, Brent.
Tell you what, it's a blessing, and I don't look at it any way but that. So, but it was an amazing day in the tale of two halves in Tuscaloosa, and I don't expect that to happen here. And listen, while I've got you guys, can I update you on what's going on here about the game and the stadium and so forth real quick?
We're going to ask. Because this is the week that you always get the "we're going to leave" story.
Absolutely. And we're going to leave because it hurts our recruiting.
Yeah. And George is going for a three-peat, and the Gators are the mighty Gators.
I saw a minute ago the on the recruiting rankings. It was Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. So tell me how much that's going to hurt it. But look,
it's crushed them.
This is the biggest event, guys, in this city the whole year. It's an amazing time. They opened up what they call RV City today at like 8:30. So you've got RVs already parked here on Tuesday and the game Saturday. And there'll be a bunch of them, too. We've got a special for First Coast News Friday night. But the reality of this is how is this going to affect the game? Well, the game is going to be here this year, and there's an option for 2 more. So it will be here through 25. So the city is negotiating right now what to do to the stadium. And, I mean, we were in Nashville for media days, and they were working on the Titan Stadium, too, up there. But this is my guess on this. The game, the city's going to go all out to keep the game. We got a new mayor, Donna Deegan, who used to be a former anchor for First Coast News, as Brett probably knows. And the city's going to do. I think what the city's going to do. I think they're going to overpay both teams. But the truth of the matter is, I don't care what you pay them. It's still a drop in the bucket because, guys, the atmosphere here is kind of what you'd get at Oklahoma, Texas, Army, Navy, or what you used to get at Alabama, Auburn. Mm-hmm. There are 72,000 or 75 in the stadium. And literally walking around the stadium in what I would say maybe a 1 mile, 2 mile radius is probably double or triple that.
Wow.
So, and you've got all these folks who come in and they stay north of the city and Fernandina Beach and up in south of Georgia, maybe a few in Orlando and out that. But to make a long story short, it's a great game, and the city does not want to lose it. And I hope we never do. I hope it stays here forever.
When you say remodel, maybe something to the stadium, they tore it down to the struts for the Jags.
They did.
Does it need that again?
Well, we're still not real sure how much that they would do as far as what do you tear down. I mean, they want to upgrade it. I get that part. The thing they really want to do is to put, it's not going to be a dome, but they want to put some kind of a, more of a roof, more of an awning on it, to get the fans in the shade instead of in the sun.
Interesting.
The reality is, how long is this going to take?
Well, they just now figuring out it gets hot in Florida?
Yeah, really. How long is this going to take, and how long will the Georgia-Florida game not be played here? In other words, will it be played in Atlanta, Athens, Gainesville, Orlando for a short period of time, meaning maybe 2 years, somewhere in there? So those are all the questions that have yet to be answered about this situation. And guys, I'll be honest with you. I've been to the stadium lately for a media days, and to me, I mean, look, does it need some upgrading as all stadiums do? Yeah. But, I mean, do you really want to completely redo it, as Brent asked? I will be interested to see how far it goes.
Yeah, it definitely will be interesting to kind of keep an eye on. But what do you expect in this one on Saturday between Georgia and Florida? It will be our first time we see this Georgia offense this year without Brock Bowers.
Yeah, and Brock, he covered a multitude of sins, is what he did. I was talking to a beat writer for Georgia recently and about the injuries they had at running back, and I said, what would they do if this keeps going on? They said, well, they would put Brock Bowers at running back, just give it to him 3 times in a row.
Wow.
I mean, he was being a bit facetious, but really he wasn't.
Right.
I mean, they've got some tight ends. Oscar Delp is a guy they'll put in there. But Georgia's just more physical than Florida is. Mm-hmm. Florida's played better, and we really haven't had what you would call a earth-shaking upset in this game in a while, and I don't expect that that's going to happen here. Most of the time, the better roster wins, and Georgia's got the better roster, but Florida is playing better, and it would do them a lot of good, and they're not into moral victories, but if they could take this game to the end of the third, end of the fourth quarter, that would do a lot for them.
I think Georgia has a second gear, third gear that they really haven't had to get to yet,
yes.
But they will, and they're going to have to against Florida, Mizzou, Ole Miss, Tennessee,
Correct.
maybe even Georgia Tech in their big rival game. Last weekend in Tuscaloosa, do you think the flood warnings around Tuscaloosa are over from all the Tennessee tears over the officiating?
Maybe. But I mean, you had just as many officiating questions last year, so that question's not going to.
I got
end.
the numbers if you need them. Last year in Knoxville, that we didn't hear a peep about the officiating from the Orange side.
No.
17 penalties on
right.
Alabama that day.
Yes.
6
Yes.
on Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, it was 8 on Tennessee, 1 on Alabama. So about the same proportionality, a little more this year than last, but not a lot. And I just didn't hear any of that complaining or that long pause before an answer from Josh Heupel.
Yeah. And I give them credit in the first half. I thought particularly that their passing game did some things that I do think took Alabama by surprise. Now Milton made some good throws that he probably had not been making, and give him credit for that, particularly the Squirrel White touchdown in the corner of the end zone. I would be curious how many more times, if he threw 100 passes, how many more times he could connect on a pass like that.
He had a pretty good day.
He did.
He did. There's no question about that. But I think the thing that made the difference, and we talked about this last week, that the stat that really came out that to me made the difference for Tennessee is they were 5-0 when they ran for more than 160 yards. They were 14-0 when they had done it going back to last year.
Wow.
And they didn't. They only got maybe 120, 130. They didn't get 160. But again, the thing that you've got with this Alabama team, and Brad's heard all this, it being at different stadiums. I'm telling you, the media and the fans at halftime wanted to bench Milroe, and it was well, if this doesn't get better real quick in the third quarter, I'm going home. So there are still times. It's not that they don't love their team, but there are still times that they look at this team, and particularly Milroe, and guys, it is still, and Milton's the same way to a degree with these quarterbacks, it is still a quarter by quarter, half by half, game by game with these guys, on not really knowing how they're going to do game by game.
If you want to win, you better win that rushing battle, and Alabama did on Saturday. And this year in the SEC, the team that wins the rushing battle, they're 63-10. That's 86%.
Yeah.
The team that wins the passing battle, 48-25. That's 66%. Give me pounding that rock, overthrowing it any day of the week.
It never ends. It never changes.
Never
They want us to believe that there are things that are new, that there are more wrinkles you can throw in passing, and you've got. But look, when you are able to control the rushing game, you control the clock, and you control basically the game itself. And I tell you this, guys, this is a discussion on another day. But when you're at a game, and I'm curious if you've noticed this, Brett, but when you're at a game, you really kind of focus in on how different the game is now and how shorter it is. That man, when that clock never stops, that game gets a lot shorter.
I think the first 3 quarters do, but the fourth quarter still drags a little.
Yeah, well, and I wonder if some of that is psychological for us when we're watching or where all that is. I would agree with that, but
and it could be makeup time for the ad.
It could be
for the ad inventory for TV.
Yeah, really. Yeah. There's certainly no shortage of that, to say the least. But
how good's Tennessee?
Tennessee's probably, I would say they've got, and we pretty much said this at the beginning of the year, they probably got another loss in them, maybe, and maybe even one. Well, obviously with Georgia coming up. So I mean, the things that we heard about 9-3, 8-4, that they would definitely take a step back from last year. Now, it doesn't mean the program's bad. It doesn't mean they need to fire anybody. That's not what we're talking about here. But I think we all knew realistically they would not have the weapons they had last year, and that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, you're right about that. Talking to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. I want to kind of change gears a little bit here because I want to ask you about Florida State and their win against Duke, because especially early in that game, it looked like Duke was kind of in control, kind of giving that Florida State team some fits, but then Riley Leonard goes down late in the game, and kind of that momentum shifted. Florida State able to pick up a win. What did you make out of Florida State's win on Saturday?
Well, I tell you what, a lot of the bigger games came from the ACC with Miami beating Clemson in double overtime, and then the one in the world happened, North Carolina, against Virginia. But look, this Duke team is a really good football team. They're very disciplined. I talked to a former Florida State player who was there, and I asked him about Duke. He said, well, they're a scrappy team with a scrappy quarterback, but the thing that really helps them is how disciplined they are. And that is showing up. Jordan Travis ran the ball more than he had. That made a difference. And they're getting a little bit of a break before they play Miami. I mean, they go to Wake Forest, which would have scared them to death a few years ago. But they'll go there, and I think they will play okay during that time. I mean, their wide receivers still are doing fine. Keon Coleman, I think defensively, they look to be doing pretty well. Now, they still probably are going to have to run the table in order to get in the playoffs, but they have stood up and been accounted for this year, made some real improvement from last year, but that Miami game in Tallahassee coming up in November will be one to watch.
Can anybody beat FSU?
Yeah, I think they probably could. Now, but they may have to do it in the fourth quarter. I'm thinking they got against I'm just trying to think of your contenders right now. I mean,
they're at Wake, at Pitt, home against the U, home against North Alabama, state championship game at Gainesville against Florida.
Well, I was more thinking of the playoffs more than what they've got left.
Gotcha.
I think they'll run the table in the regular season. Now, I will say this:
then they'll probably be the 2 seed to Michigan.
Yeah, they very well could be. Now they could get a scare from Miami, and if they go into Gainesville and they're fat and happy, and they are not taking the game seriously, if you get
how you let that happen? Norvell's not going to let that happen.
I don't believe he would either. But I could see Florida playing really well in that game, in taking them the fourth quarter. But as far as what they've got left on the schedule, they will. I think they'll run the table. But it's fascinating to see what they would do and to think about in the coming playoffs if they make it.
Well, it's really impressive just to kind of see what Mike Norvell has done there from going from really important people at Florida State calling for his job to leading them to one of the top teams in the country and likely a playoff contender. So it's been fun to watch that team.
It is.
But Brent, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Good. Thank you, guys, as always.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Brent.
it.
Thank you, Brent. Brent Beard with us talking college football. And, Brian, I call the time of year we're getting ready to ease into, and with Halloween, it's kind of junk food, but we're getting ready to start eating season.
Ooh,
we're
I like
really
that.
kind of from now through the end of the year when we all make the proclamations to do better.
We're going to go to the gym and
and the resolutions to all do better. Now it's kind of the guard down, and good place to let the guard down for eating season. It's at Jason's Deli, any of the great locations. And for all these family get-togethers, they can do it all for you. And maybe you don't really want that type of fare on the big days, on Thanksgiving Day or on Christmas Day, but you're going to have so much family in, you're going to be eating a lot the nights before and the nights after, so let Jason's Deli do all the work for you. It's healthy. It's the first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. It's all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, they have it for you. Let them cater your office event. A lot of eating and a lot of festivities around offices and workplaces, really now through the end of the year. Let them do it. Low delivery fees, vegetarian, gluten-sensitive options, same-day, last-minute orders welcomed for Halloween get-togethers, for a lot of homecomings at high school with events. Let them handle your event. Those same-day and last-minute orders welcome. That's when they excel. When you don't think you've gotten it just right, that's when you step aside and let them do it at Jason's Deli, where it's all about choice. That great salad bar in all these locations. Over 30 items to choose from in every location, like at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. One very close by near you, wherever you are in our area. All the salads, the Mesa Chicken Salad, the Big Chef Salad, my favorite, the Taco Salad, and all those soups. With the weather getting cooler, supposed to get cooler next week, we'll be ready for more of soup season type fare. Plenty of organic food to choose from and complimentary free ice cream in all these locations at Ridgeway Road, Cordova, Poplar and Highland, and Olive Branch. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com and enjoy eating season.
Well, it's another week of football in the books for both college football and the NFL. So let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what we're certain of after another week of action. That's next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Ready to unlock your home's potential? A huge sale has up to 50% off retail at Everything's Yours Appliances with 2 convenient locations in Mississippi, 7095 Hacks Cross Road, Olive Branch, and 8478 Highway 178 West in Byhalia. Invest in new appliances knowing you got a great deal. Everything's Yours Appliances has no credit financing available with low down payment and delivery. Everything's Yours Appliances has all major appliances and name brands. Hurry to Everything's Yours Appliances, where customers are number one.
If you're like most people, you've had your fair share of financial questions. Questions like, can I afford my son's travel hockey team? What if my daughter doesn't get that soccer scholarship? Will I be able to enjoy golf in retirement? At Empower, we know these questions can be stressful. We're here to help answer your what ifs and empower what's next. Join 18 million Americans and take control of your financial future. Start today at empower.com. Sponsored by Empower Personal Wealth.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep, that means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. That traffic really starting to build now, trying to get out of Midtown on 240 southbound as you come down past Norris. It's still moving south of Memphis on 55 as we stare at it live here down through South Haven as traffic also builds pretty much on schedule. Sam Cooper coming past Perkins, working your way down Sam Cooper, getting back up on the interstate. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
All right, well, another busy weekend of football, both college and the NFL. We got to talk about what we're certain of after another week of action. So, Brett, why don't you start? Let's start in college football. What did you learn, or what are you certain of after the weekend?
I'm certain the schedule is not very strong, but we knew that when it was released. But I'm also certain what Michigan's doing to that schedule. Yeah. It looks like the Powerball numbers, 27, 28, 25, 24, 38, 42, 45, 49. That's the winning margins in every game this year for Michigan. They've taken care of business. I know they're reviled. I know a lot of the story right now is Ohio State-centric generated because of the last 2 years. That's how hated that rivalry is. And I know it's going to get tougher on Michigan, and it's not going to be starting next week, open date this week, next week against Purdue, and then they close in November with a road trip to Penn State, a road trip to College Park to play Maryland. That won't be easy, and then the big game against Ohio State. But so far, they've made it look easy. I'm certain of that.
They have made it easy. When you mentioned Ohio State, that's the first thing I'm certain about. I'm certain that Ohio State is one of the best teams in the country, and I wouldn't say I'm certain, but I'm pretty sure the AP got it wrong this week with their top 25. When you look at what Ohio State has done against other top opponents that have been on their schedule, they've handled business. And then when you look at the rest of the schedule against other Big Ten teams that they're supposed to take care of, they handled their business against those teams. I think for me, the biggest thing that is so surprising about this Ohio State team is they're not fully healthy. They have injuries all across that team, and you still look at them and they go out. And really, it was a one-score game against Penn State for that final score, 20-12. But really, from about the second quarter on, it never really looked like Penn State was in that game or would ever be able to have kind of that big punch to get back into the game. And Ohio State really made it look easy. I'm certain that they are one of the best teams in the country.
I'm certain of this. I'm certain Ole Miss's win over LSU is really holding up. and it should. They won the game, 55-49.
Absolutely.
But I hear a lot of people, heard Peter Burns on SEC Network ranking his Western Division teams, and he's got LSU ranked number 1, and that's with 2 losses. Now, as long as it's Ole Miss with just 1 loss and LSU with 2 and Ole Miss having won that game, I think it's just common sense. Anybody with that can add basic math should say that Ole Miss is better. Even when it got to 2 losses, if Ole Miss had 2 and LSU had 2, well, who won between them? Mm-hmm. Now, if it got to Ole Miss with 3 and LSU with 2, then the head-to-head wouldn't mean as much as the full body of work. Ole Miss kind of lived that in 2014 and 15 with those wins over Alabama. But right now, I know the game was played, and I know who won. Yeah. And I'm certain for 2023, that means Ole Miss was better.
No, I'm certain that you're right on that, and you're right. It's the narrative that has been talked about. Both of these teams has been very different than the result that was on the field that day.
Here's another thing I'm certain of. I know that LSU quarterback, Jay Daniels, is that good, and I think what he's doing, the ground he's making up in the Heisman race, is kind of fueling the new look and maybe a different. Well, LSU, that was a long time ago, and they made changes on defense. That's fueling a lot of that wasn't so bad to lose to FSU and to Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Something else I'm certain about, it's tough out here for these new Big 12 teams, specifically the ones that came from the American. I am certain of that. When you look at the standings right now in the Big 12, Oklahoma number 1, Iowa State 2, Oklahoma State, Texas, Kansas State, Kansas, BYU, a new team in there with a 2-2 conference record, West Virginia, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech. And then the bottom 3, Brett. Houston with a 1-3 conference record, UCF with an 0-4 conference record, and Cincinnati with an 0-4 conference record. It's not easy jumping to the big conference like the Big 12, and these teams like Cincinnati, who ran the American, UCF, who ran the American, Houston, that had some good years in the American, they're really struggling to find their footing in the Big 12 this year.
I'm certain we're going to see Arch Manning soon because Quinn Ewers will be out a while, at least 3 to 4 weeks. The starter will be Malik Murphy, who's also a true freshman, just like Arch Manning is out of Inglewood, California. Mm-hmm. He'll get the start and he'll get most of the run time against BYU. But if something happened, or for a series or two to get him acclimated to it, you're going to see Arch Manning probably this week for the first time as a college player. Wow. Against BYU, and many fear, and it's the reason why that in the perfect world they wanted him redshirted this year. That he's just not ready. And this week it's Texas at home against BYU. Next week it's Texas at Kansas State. At home against Kansas State, and then it's Texas at TCU. 3 tough games ahead for the Longhorns in time that I'm certain Quinn Ewers will be out for.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch. Last thing I'm certain about, and then I'll move to my NFL, what I'm certain about. I am certain that the refs got it wrong in Iowa, in Minnesota. Iowa, no punt doubt. Return, takes it all the way back for a touchdown that gave them the lead. And the way that game was going, Brett, that would have been the last time either team had gotten on the board because that game was very slow, very low scoring. The under hit, by the way. And in case anybody missed that, the under that was set at 30.5 did hit, but they called it back when the punt was in the air. The punt returner was trying to kind of wave his arm back to kind of figure out where he was on the field and make sure he had his balance, and they said that he called for a fair catch. They brought it back, wiped out the touchdown, and like I said, the way that game was going, there was really no prayer Iowa was going to find the end zone or move the ball enough to get points on the board. And I was really excited when he took it back for a touchdown, and then I was very sad when I saw them call it back.
NFL, for me, I'm certain the Cleveland Browns can play good defense and they can play very, very, very physical offense with running the game. I'm not so certain about what they can get consistently at quarterback, but to win that game Sunday 39-38 over the Colts, and now for the Browns to be 4-2 in the standings, and if the playoffs started today, they would be the 6th seed. It's a long time to playoffs, but they could be a really tough out with how well they play defense and how physical they are in the rush attack.
Absolutely. I'm certain Tyson Bagent, the rookie from Chicago, from Shepherd University, he had himself a nice day in his first career start in the NFL. 21 for 29, 162 yards, and a touchdown from the former Division II quarterback. And, most importantly, a win for Chicago, their second win of the season, a win over Las Vegas, who fell to 3-4 over the weekend.
Think how different Tyson Bagent's football life has been to Justin Fields, from the recruitment to when wherever Justin Fields was recruited to, Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State, played at 2 of those 3.
Everywhere.
And when he came in, from the food and the presentation, the hostesses showing him around. Wait, you think Tyson Bagent ever got a bagel on a recruiting visit?
No. I mean, 2 completely different worlds. I see all the time, something that's popular nowadays, Brett, on YouTube is like guys who play college football or a college sport. They all know each other and friends with a bunch of different people, and they'll make videos where it's like day in the life of a Division I football player and then day in the life of a D3 football player. It's like one of their buddies that went to a D3 school, and they'll go like back and forth, and you'll see the difference of like how a guy at Ohio State's day is and a guy who's at Shepherd University's life is, and it's like what this is.
I'm not belittling anyone. I'm just making an example of how different it is. So a couple Saturdays ago, went to Rhodes and Sewanee.
Yeah.
It was about 10-1, about 10 minutes out, maybe 20 minutes out. And Sewanee was still out on the field pregame, and I was going to go to the restroom. And I didn't see any. No porta potty, no nothing. And I asked someone, I said, where are the restrooms? They said, well, since Sewanee's out on the field, just go to the Sewanee locker room.
Yeah. That's right.
The idea of going in Texas's locker room, if you're just rando walking around the stadium.
Mm-hmm. When I was still in school, I had one of my classes. We were supposed to go out and find like a beat to cover, and so my beat was going to be, because obviously Memphis basketball is hard to do. People already want to take it. I was already covering it for 247. I asked my professor. He was like, "I'd like for you to cover something different, whatever." So I was like, "I'll go do Rhodes baseball." And so I would go out to Rhodes baseball games, and I would cover the team. And same exact thing. I had to go to the restroom, and over by their baseball field, they have a restroom right there. And I walk in, and next to me is one of the baseball players on the other team, and I was like, "Aren't y'all?" Wait, and he goes, "Oh yeah, our locker room's connected to this restroom, so we just use this restroom as well." And I was like, "Oh, okay,
it's
that's
just
cool.
very different,
very different."
And that's been the football life of Tyson Bagent.
Yeah,
I'm certain of this. I'm certain we saw, I think, peak Lamar this weekend.
Yo, I think you're right. Yeah,
maybe his best game as a football player.
Unbelievable. I mean, unreal. Almost flawless is what I saw ESPN call it. I mean, it was, and Brett, how about this? I'm certain I was wrong about the Lions last week, because I, on Friday, was talking about, I had them on my bingo card, and I was talking about how they were going to win this game over the Ravens, and Brett, it wasn't even close. It was never close. The only reason the Lions got on the board was because they scored late in the fourth quarter, and really, other than that, it was all Ravens all afternoon. So that was fun, and Lamar was unbelievable to watch. But that's what we're certain of after another week of football in both the NFL and college football. Let's go ahead, get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, "Alexa, play Sports 56." Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When you're watching the Tigers play or whatever team you support, you always look for the end result, the winning score. And when you're thinking of selling your home, the ultimate goal line is the closing table. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. Getting your home sold for what you want and when you want it makes everyone happy. You should talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers when you're thinking of selling your home, and make sure I'm one of them, especially if you want results. Most people have heard that when you want the job done, you need to call Shell Done. Call or email me today and find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Dunn Rosengarten. Call today at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. And go Tigers!
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, well, my big number today, I actually have multiple big numbers, but they all revolve around one person. Really one team, but really one person. So my big number today is going to be 53. That's the number for Adolis Garcia, who has really turned into the star of these playoffs, and I think the entire MLB, but certainly for
Mr.
the Rangers.
October.
He really has turned into Mr. October. So let me go through a couple of my big numbers for Adolis Garcia that came out after that game last night. Adolis Garcia is the first player in MLB history to have a homer and 3+ RBI in 3 consecutive postseason game. He also, Adolis Garcia, over his last 3 games, has posted 6 hits, 4 RBIs, 12 RBI, 1 stolen base, and 1 hit by pitch. The last MLB player to reach all of those numbers over any 3-game span, regular or postseason, was Lou Gehrig in 1930. So it's been a long, long time since that has happened. Finally, a Rangers stat for you. They are the first team in MLB history to win games 6 and 7 on the road by 7+ runs each. Just incredible what the Rangers have done this postseason, specifically these last 2 games.
Yeah, and look, I'm not fighting it at all because it happens. But you got Garcia out there with all the numbers he's amassing for the postseason. He had the Altuve numbers, and a lot of the reason is the expanded playoffs. We're playing so many games now. Starting Friday night, when we get down to the World Series, these games are kind of infinite. Those records are finite, and we'll get back to the sacred records, and you're going to hear a whole lot of Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, and Joe DiMaggio in those numbers.
Oh, absolutely. It's gonna be so much fun, Brett.
It will be. My big number is 23. That's the longest home winning streak in college football, and it's held by Georgia. Michigan right behind them at 22. Utah 18 straight at home. Tennessee 14 straight at Neyland Stadium. Washington 12 straight. Ohio, the Bobcats 10 in a row. Louisville and Oregon State with 8 in a row, and Florida State, Fresno State, and LSU all at 7 in a row, and Air Force and Penn State at 6 in a row. But Georgia with 23 straight between the hedges at Sanford Stadium this week. You know, the cocktail party's not at home, but then they have Mizzou at home and Ole Miss at home.
I mean, Mizzou could be a tough task for them. I mean, with what Missouri has done this year, that could be a great game.
You know, I have joined in. I think with everybody that the SEC is a smidge down this year. That's kind of the central theme, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that to be the case. But what if, and usually, you know, that up SEC year, there's about 4 teams in the mix for 2 playoff spots, when that sometimes maybe 5. What if this year the 4 teams are this. And the SEC's not decidedly down. Well, we know the 2 would be LSU and Alabama would be 2 in there. What if Mizzou and Ole Miss aren't that bad?
I mean, they've played well. I mean, so you might be right on that.
You got Tennessee and I guess LSU right there in kind of the next group of teams. But when the SEC is perceived as up, there's about 4 at the top, 4 to 5, in the middle, and then everybody else with Vanderbilt at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and especially when you get to conference play and those conference games get tougher, you really see kind of what these teams are made out of, and Missouri and Ole Miss, for that matter, have both, I think, shown since conference play has started that they can hang with anybody. I mean, with what Ole Miss did against LSU and what Missouri's done these past couple of weeks, even against LSU in a loss, and then a win over Kentucky. I mean, they've really shown that they can play.
And when we were talking with Dave earlier, we were talking about luck and injuries the rest of the way. Well, if Mizzou and Ole Miss want to have that thread the needle dream year, really be in the mix, they better not have any injuries and they better be lucky.
Yeah.
And if they don't, if they stumble, that's when people are going to say, "See, told you, shouldn't have taken them seriously." Ole Miss is going to be Ole Miss, Mizzou's going to be Mizzou. The way to avert that is to win. That's the really hard part.
Well, I mean, it is the hard part, and I think for a lot of people, they kind of have that in the back of your head for Ole Miss about what happened last year. I mean, going so well and winning games. 8-1. I was just about to ask you, how far along were we? How close are we right now to records last year?
8-1 and driving to beat Alabama at home, and then it just all came apart.
And just all fell off and lost, their last 5 games of the season? So, I mean, I think a lot of people have that in the back of their mind, and so, if they can kind of overcome that.
Very well against Arkansas, at times against State, and in the bowl game.
No, you're absolutely right about that. But it'll be fun to keep an eye on those 2 teams because I really think they've played really, really well over the last couple of games. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, wrap up this hour, and when we come back to start our 5 o'clock hour, we'll talk NFL with Bo Marchant.
What do you get when you have a dream, a beer, and a business plan? Meddlesome Brewing. Meddlesome's classic ales and lagers capture the true Memphis spirit. Strong, tenacious, and unforgettable. Meddlesome captures true Memphis spirit as well with community events including the Meddlesome Meandering 0.5K Saturday, November 4th with live music, event cup, and plenty of brews like Memphis Style and 201 Hoppler. Meddlesome Brewing on Trinity in Cordova just east of Shelby Farms. On tap and canned packages. Meddlesome Brewing. Never settle, always meddle.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
At Sissy's Log Cabin, you'll find only spectacular natural diamonds that will remain treasured for generations. That promise is now symbolized by the engraved Sissy signature and sapphire, representing our guarantee of extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. Stop by any of our stores or visit Sissy'sLogCabin.com and experience the Sissy's promise for yourself. Find a jeweler for a lifetime, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I'm with John Virgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's starting a little bit heavy now in the last few minutes on 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out towards Fayette County. It's building even more out of Midtown just in the last few minutes on 240 southbound from Union all the way down to, let's say, Norris. As you continue south of Memphis, that still looks pretty good with that drive on 55 southbound through South Haven all the way down through DeSoto County. Hey, there's an adventure around every corner at the Memphis Zoo. Check out the events calendar, what's going on at memphiszoo.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joining us now to talk the NFL. And Bo, let's start with that game last night. The Vikings beat the 49ers. The 49ers have now lost back-to-back games against the Browns and the Vikings. What do you make of that result? Are you starting to worry about this 49ers team? Are you starting to worry about Brock Purdy? What are you thinking right now about this team?
Well, you know, the Browns game up on the lake, that reminded me of their Week 1 loss last year to Chicago. We all know the weather was horrific, and that was like a duplicate up there. Yeah, so I just think that was kind of a weather-oriented game. It doesn't mean it gives the 49ers a pass, but we all know elements can deter how good another team is over the next. It kind of, limits what the better team is compared to the lesser team. And I think, Cleveland got the best of them. And listen, without Deshaun Watson playing, P.J. Walker stepping in, it is hard traveling across the country and getting up. I know this is professionals. I'm not saying excuses, but those are factors that factor into it. They weren't getting up to play, the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were going to play a Browns team that wasn't playing good football with a backup quarterback. So I could see, where they stumbled. And then last night, I would just give all the credit to the Minnesota Vikings. That was one of the best games I saw executed by a team. Kirk Cousins was phenomenal. If you never watched the game of professional football in your life and you watched Kirk Cousins last night, you would have said, is that the best guy in the entire league ever? 45 passes. They didn't sack him once. I just thought his execution, his timing, his
378.
Yeah, in the pocket was perfect. And then defensively, they made the plays. They sealed the deal with the late INT. I wouldn't worry about Brock Purdy. He's human. Everybody has a game where they throw hiccups in. But nonetheless, the 49ers are still a juggernaut. And, we've seen across the landscape of the NFL in the last few weeks as the number one or the undefeated got defeated. The 49ers stumbled twice. Miami scores one offensive touchdown against the Philadelphia defense. The Buffalo Bills are embarrassed by the New England Patriots. So, it's the NFL. It's hard to win every week, and we saw this past weekend, especially some of the top teams kind of surrender to, get that loss that might not have been predicted earlier on.
For the Niners, if this were boxing, I would say at minimum they got their mouthpiece knocked out, and they may have tasted their own blood. But here's the schedule coming up for them. Home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, at Jacksonville the week after that, home against the Buccaneers, then a road trip to Seattle and a road trip to Philadelphia. If they tasted their own blood, they better love the taste of it because they may get more of it in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. But on the flip side, we know Cincinnati has their struggles, and to think that they're coming off a bye week, and then you got to face a 49ers team that's lost 2 straight. You just assume that there's no way this team's going to lose 3 straight weeks. And those are kind of just the ups and downs. And one thing I like to mention too, when I watched that game last night, the schedule is so critical for how some of these teams play. If that was a 1:00 game on Sunday, I would have put the 49ers to win. But it's prime time. It's Monday night. It does change the atmosphere. It does change the energy in the building. And you can see that in a lot of different places. Like, a few weeks ago when, the Giants took on the Bills, the Giants played so well. If that was a 1:00 game up in Orchard Park, I would not expect the same outcome. I just think sometimes the schedule and the big night games, some of these teams really step up for them. And I think that also was a factor in the Vikings. Just the place was, the atmosphere looked phenomenal. And again, they came out ready to play. And, it was a great game. And, when they closed it to 19-14, I think, okay, here they come. The Niners are going to start, squeaking their way back and take the lead. But the Vikings just kept punching them, and every time the 49ers would answer, the Vikings had something to answer back. But a great game, a great game for the Vikings. I don't know if it's enough to get them over the hump and get them back into at least a wild card race. But, there's plenty of football left in the season. We're, 7 games in, week 8 coming up. So a lot of football left.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going from one primetime game to another Sunday night football between the Eagles and the Dolphins. We got kind of the rematch of the Alabama quarterbacks, but the Eagles take care of business. What'd you make of that one?
It kind of reminded me of a slight way of when the Buccaneers took care of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The line was a little banged up for Patrick Mahomes, and we know Tua Tagovailoa didn't have the line. The line was banged up, and Isaiah Wynn leaves the game. They put him on IR today. Listen, that Eagles front is good enough, even if you're playing at full strength. But when you start shuffling guys around and, the guys that you're dependent on aren't there, it does hurt you. It does limit what you can do. And on the flip side, the Dolphins, I thought the Dolphins defensively handled the Eagles pretty well. I mean, they held them under 100 yards. The Eagles have been rushing the ball so well. They kept, Jalen Hurts in check somewhat. We all know A.J. Brown's been on a tear. He's been terrorizing everybody's secondary. So you can't give up the Dolphins, fault them for, A.J. Brown having a big game. But it's that defense won the game for Philadelphia. They were too much for that, Miami front, and they were able to shut them down. Without the Jerome Baker touchdown, think about it. 10 offensive points, 1 offensive touchdown, the other touchdown to give them 17 came off the, Jerome Baker interception off Hurts. So I just think it's the Miami. That's going to be Miami is going to be able to score. And if we play that game again, even with the line, and Miami's potent enough where they're going to put points on the board, very quickly. But that was the Eagles' night, and we know Miami's going to be there in the end just because they can score a lot of points. But if they face these teams like you do usually in the playoffs, these stout defenses, and that happens. And one more thing, a lot could be said not many teams have a front like the Eagles. So, Miami, you look at the rest of Miami's schedule, I don't know who's on it the rest of the way, but I don't know how many teams are going to be able to match what the Eagles will be able to bring defensively.
Yeah, they won't see many much better than that. Yeah. They will get a respite in getting ready for D-Lions the rest of the way. Bo Marchant talking NFL with us. We may do this next summer in the lazy, hazy days of summer. I know there are 32 NFL teams and just 30 baseball teams, but we may compare every NFL team to if they were a baseball organization. What would be the apt comparison? In both a team that you cover well and a team that I love so much, I think there are fair comparisons between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. You know why? Because they do.
They do. Both they do. Their approach is largely the same. We don't get too high. We don't get too low. We're mostly always good. This year, a big exception for the Cardinals. And used to for the Cardinals, we don't get too into the heat of the moment of firing the manager, although they kind of have now. And they're just flatline around training camp, around spring training, during the course of the year. They have a lot of similarities. With all that, Steelers hadn't won in a while like the Cardinals hadn't won in a while. How long will those great fans stay patient of talking about Big Ben, talking about the original TB12?
Well, I think that's the big, at least when I hear the upset fan base, that's where, the standard, they say the standard's the standard, and the standard was, going to Super Bowls. Now the standard is the standard that the thing you talk about is Mike Tomlin going 8-8. And then when they upgraded the game, not having a losing season, now he's 9-8. If that's going to be the goal, or that's the thing you're proudest most of, you're not playing Steelers football. You're not playing what, the majority of the fan base is accustomed to seeing. They're trying to get there, and I've said this so many times. I just think it's the genius of Mike Tomlin coaching teams up that really aren't that well, and it gives you the misperception that they're better than what I really think they are. They're a young team offensively. Pickett just played his 17th game or 18th game in the league. So he just completed his first full season. And, we're in the week 8, of this year. So he has 1 year under his belt. Mixed bag, does he look great? No, he does not. Does he look awful? He doesn't look awful either, but you just hope they continue to develop him. The line, they put a lot of money into it. It's trying to gel. Broderick Jones, I think, they're going to put him in there. That was their first pick. And who knows what they do with Dan Moore, the backup now. But it's a team that Tomlin is able to maximize and get things out I don't think other coaches do. And I think sometimes that can hurt him because it does. I think it masks some of the deficiencies that they have. I mean, when you think about when Roethlisberger stepped in, I think he went 13-0 as a rookie. But you think about the Hall of Fame type people on that team. It was a whole different atmosphere of what Roethlisberger stepped into and the team itself. And then you had the peak of Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown when the offense was a juggernaut of the National Football League, but the defense wasn't up to par. So they were scoring points, but they couldn't stop anybody. Now it's kind of flipped the switch. Ben's gone. Antonio Brown's gone. Le'Veon Bell's gone. You got all these new faces that they're trying to develop, but the defense is up to snuff. So you're trying to get the key is you got to get them both on the same side playing at a high level. I just don't know if the offense is there yet. We've seen the defense this past Sunday. T.J. Watt's amazing, big plays all the time, and they keep grinding, and they find the ways to win. It's just a matter of how quick or if the development ever happens where, Pickett becomes a upper echelon type quarterback, and Najee Harris in that running game gets going, and who knows where that goes. It doesn't seem like that's a fit. Jaylen Warren seems like the more explosive guy in the backfield, but nonetheless, they're 4-2. And, big win. And this is the big one this week. They host Jacksonville. Jacksonville just seems to have their number. And no matter how bad or good Jacksonville's been in the past few seasons, it just seems like Jacksonville always gets the best of this particular team. And I remember their last playoff run, they were actually hosting their last, Jacksonville came in at the wild card. And that's what I think when Jacksonville made it to the AFC Championship.
With Blake Bortles.
Yeah, with Blake Bortles. And that team went in, and they beat that game. I wasn't at that particular game. I was in New York with my son on orientation for college. But that particular game, it was an embarrassment. They really, really, really put it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. At the time at Heinz Field.
Yeah. Well, on the other side of that game on Sunday, should the Rams be worried about Brett Maher and his performance on Sunday? 1 for 3 on field goals and missed an extra point?
I think they let him go today.
Did they
They
really?
let him go.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
man.
they signed Lucas Havericky or something off the Browns practice squad. So So that answers your question.
I guess so.
They were so concerned that they said, "Hey, here's
Poor
your walking
Maher.
papers, sir." And they brought in Lucas Hakovitz. I can't pronounce his last name.
Boy, it's a high wire act for those
Man.
kickers, isn't it?
Sure is.
But those field goals will get you.
They will. They'll get you. I'm curious, you were talking about the Eagles' defense, and they just went out, made a trade yesterday afternoon while we were on air, actually, and had Kevin Byard from the Titans. What'd you make of that trade for both the Eagles and for the Titans, kind of clearing up some cap space?
Yeah, I mean, Byner wasn't happy when the preseason started. He wanted money. Then they worked things out. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl guy, talented kid, and it's another great addition to a defense that's already pretty good. And Reed Blankenship, maybe people might not know of him, but he kind of replaces Antoine Gardner, or not Antoine Gardner. His name's escaping, but he went to Detroit. Anyways, but Blankenship's been hurt. But a late-round kid, but he's been playing well, and you partner him up with Kevin Byard. They should have a good secondary, kind of boost what Darius Slay and all those guys are able to do. And Vontae Maddox is missing time. So just anything in the secondary to help them, on the back end, because we know the front end with all those guys that they have, on the front in terms of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, very, very impressive front. And Hassan Reddick's playing incredible. I love the addition. I love these midseason additions. And for Tennessee, who knows? And I'm just curious next week, the deadline, I think 5 p.m. on the 31st. I'm just curious to think if Derrick Henry is off to Dallas or Buffalo or Baltimore, and, what big names or possibilities on that trade front that's approaching next Tuesday.
It feels like the fire sale has started in Tennessee, and I thought it should have been over last offseason, and I thought Derrick Henry, very similar to Earl Campbell in his time with that franchise, but it was in Houston then. They finally had to move away from him, and their running styles very, very, very much the same. But we know you love the small college guy, the evaluation of them at the Senior Bowl and at the various at pro days. Did you know of Tyson Badgett at all?
I did, but I'm not going to lie to you saying I had some in-depth scouting report, and I was all in on him, and I knew he was going to be able to kind of, battle through all the adversity that it takes to be an undrafted kid out of such a small program. But nonetheless, I was aware of him and very, very, very pleased. The small school kids, the undrafted, people just don't realize. I mean, you could be a starter at Alabama for 4 years and not get drafted. And just to think that you're coming from a place like Shepherd, such a small school, D2, and to find yourself in the National Football League. Not only that, but you've played one game. He has one less win than Justin Fields has in his career. Justin has 6, and Tyler has 1. So it just shows you how hard it is to win in the NFL and how special this moment had to be for him to not only play in the National Football League in a live game that counts, but also say, hey, I'm 1-0.
Yeah, you're right about that. It was incredible what he was able to do on Sunday. New England, they got a big win over Buffalo to make them 2-5, and a decent game for Mac Jones. Pretty good game for Mac Jones. What did you think about their win?
Well, anybody that says they saw that coming, I don't know.
No, not at
all. Listen, they played good football. They didn't turn it over. They got ahead on the downs early, and they did not turn the ball over in critical times. At least Mac Jones didn't, and they were able to do that. I thought the most impressive thing is seeing the scores come through, that late surge by Buffalo, and they were able to. But New England was able to score that late touchdown to seal the deal. I thought that was very impressive. And on the Belichick side, 300 wins, amazing to think that we're able to witness this. And Brett, you both remember, but I think it was last year or the year before that hurricane wind rainstorm where I don't think New England threw a pass.
Yeah,
and
against
they
Buffalo.
beat the Bills. And then, and I thought that was Belichick's last great game. That was like his last great stance. This unmanned team, being able to do that. It's just such a Belichickian type thing where I'm going to beat you by not throwing a single pass, and this is how good I am as a coach. But the next game, when Buffalo played New England, they destroyed them. They just absolutely annihilated the New England Patriots. And this was Belichick, I think, thinking maybe on that and working, his tail off to get this team ready. And it's a long year, though. I mean, when you play that bad in the way that they've had, it's hard to imagine that they can keep that momentum. And that's why bad teams are bad teams. It's that consistency of winning. It's the consistency of doing all the right things that are kind of difficult to do. And that's why good teams are good. They, Jalen Hurts doesn't make those mistakes all the time. Tua doesn't do those things. Patrick Mahomes can move the ball. Mac Jones makes those mistakes. And, those are the adversities that New England faces is, can they be that team every week? Probably not. Will they have certain games like this? Of course they will. We see it throughout the NFL each week. Lopsided wins, upset wins, and we see it in college football as well. We see it in all sports.
Sure.
But great win, and kudos to Bill Belichick. I mean, 300 wins. That's pretty impressive when you just think of the success that he's had to have to accumulate that many wins. It's and that's why he's probably the best ever.
He's active wins leader, 300. Andy Reid, regular season wins. Andy Reid's next at 253. To move to second, to pass Papa Bear George Halas, he needs 19. George Halas is at 318. To be number one, he's got to get to 329. Don Shula sits at 328. Does he pass either, neither, or both? Papa Bear and Don Shula.
I think he gets Papa Bear. And I don't think if he does get Coach Shula, I don't think he's with New England. You're going to have a massive turnaround. Just say they win 6 games a year. I mean, that means 6 times 6 is 36. So he's going to have to list 5 wins, at least 5 wins a season. He could do that, but is Robert Kraft going to wait? I mean, does he care enough about Bill Belichick to say, "Oh, I want you to be the coach who gets 329 or 330 5 years from now"? I mean, if he turns it around and does it in 2 seasons, just hypothetically, then that's the answer. Then they're going to have success. But right now, when you look at this team and to think that next year, the way this division looks, it's an up and coming division. Even next season, I mean, does anyone on paper think that New England's going to be not the bottom dweller of the AFC East with Aaron Rodgers coming back and Josh Allen and Tua? You would just say, okay, they're number 4. How many games are they in? I'd say Vegas puts them again 6-10.
Yeah.
They're 6-11, I should say 5.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's a difficult thing to imagine that
he may not get 3 more this year.
That's what I'm saying. And imagine, so you go into next season. I think a very generous portion of wins. Say next season is 7. Now you're so just say if it's what 3-10.
You're 18 back.
Wins. Yeah, you need 19 wins. Just say you would get 8 the next 2 seasons. Then that's 4 or 5 years from now. So who knows?
And we keep circling around that sun that whole time. I mean,
that's right.
It's going to be hard.
Sure is.
Hey, it's going to be difficult for him. But if anybody's going to do it, I mean, you got to give him all the credit in the world. I mean, he's a great coach. He's a great motivator. He knows what he's doing. It's just the talent's not there. You can look at that roster. I think the off-season additions, they don't really get impact big play type guys. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's just, he's a 2. Everybody on the whole receiving unit's 2s. The running backs, I mean, Zeke's old. Ramondre Stevenson, he's a good back, but he's not a game changer. And then you have Mac Jones, Mike Gesicki, average. Hunter Henry, average. They just don't have. And then defensively, where's the Ted Bruschi's? Where's the Rodney Harrisons? Where's your? I'm trying to think of the linemen that they had.
Now, out of that group, I do think Hunter Henry is a really high quality player.
He's a good player, but he's just not. I mean, he's not on your, just that, I don't know, game change. I guess when we think of Gronk or even Aaron Hernandez when he was there. I mean, that was such a potent pair.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't have that. There's when you look at that team, it's just blah. And I just think that's what catches up with them. When you look at other rosters, you're going to play certain teams. You're like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to focus our attention? I think it's kind of pretty simple when you look at New England. It's, they're not fast. They're not even really physical. I think, they can be manhandled. And they did this, they did some offensive line stuff this week, and they got the best of the Bills, and it was a quality win. Mac Jones has to get better, limit his mistakes. If they can do that, they can play good football, sound football. At least that can keep them in the game. And, and Belichick can do that. He's good enough coach to keep New England, in the game and not be embarrassed. But, what they're 2-5, a couple of losses were horrific, especially under Belichick's tenure. That's just those things don't happen when he's there. And I think that's a little bit of the talent that's there as well.
And as bad as they are, as least talented as they are on offense, he had a chance in the 2019 draft to get A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know all the names, but I know I've written about enough. New England can draft defensive backs better than any team in the league, and they cannot draft a receiver to save their life. Their history of drafting receivers is horrific, and there's a long history. They've tried several times. Defensively, they can find defensive backs in any round and find success. Christian Gonzalez looked great, their first-round pick before he went on the IR. He'll look like another centerpiece to that defense. But that's the problem in New England. And even in Bill's heyday, a lot of those guys they brought in, your Chad Johnsons, your Corey Dillons, your Randy Mosses, everybody wanted to be a Patriot, and they could get anybody who was having, if they were upset with their contract, if they had dysfunction with the team, Belichick could go there because they were good football players, and he got the best out of them. But that's run its course as well. That's not the destination place. No Brady, no winning. It's just kind of you're in Foxborough in the cold on a 2-5 team. It's just not a good sell when you could be in Miami with a 5-2 team.
Yeah, very different, those two places and those two teams. But, Bo, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Yep, stay safe, gentlemen. Thank you always.
Thanks, Bo. Bo Marchant joining us every single Tuesday to talk the NFL. But it's 5 o'clock, and I got to tell you about our sponsor. They're with us during this hour every single afternoon. That's Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team, any season. Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, even rubber boots. Boots for absolutely every single occasion at Hewlett & Dunn. It's not just the boots. From head to toe, they've got you covered with every brand imaginable like Ariat, Danpost, Anderson Beam. Whether for men or women, they've got also the clothing, jeans, shirts, pants, shorts, shirts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street or to HewlettDunn.com on the square in Collierville. They've also got hats, sunglasses, boot care products in every area, team, snapback, or cool hat you can think of. Whether it's the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks, they've got you covered. And for travel, their bag selection is absolutely top-notch. HewlettDunn.com, but please head out to Collierville, pay them a visit, and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett & Dunn. And we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at DriveMax. 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 You get value.
Need a car that's that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax! I got approved!
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. People are still staring at this wreck as they drive by. It did have some injuries on 40 eastbound at Abilene. It was already going to be heavy out through there as it is this time of the afternoon. Now it's even worse because of this accident, slowing down traffic, blocking the right lane on 40 eastbound at it's going to be there at Abilene. Again, it's been slow between Sycamore View Road and Abilene going outbound there on I-40. It's heavy over here on 240 getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. If you get hurt in a car crash, call 901 Attorneys right here in Memphis. Check out their website anytime at 901attorneys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Times. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show and a couple things to get to during What's Trending. I do want to point out we had a texter that I thought made a really good point, a funny point, I think. We were talking with Bo about that primetime game Sunday night between the Eagles and the Dolphins, and Bo said, or somebody said, I think it was Bo, said, when's next time the Dolphins are going to see a defensive front like they saw against the Eagles? And this texter said, well, they're going to see a pretty good one against the Jets. And they're absolutely right. That Jets defense has been so fun to watch and has really been keeping them afloat this year since losing Aaron Rodgers. And they get them in 4 weeks, and so if Achane is still out, their running back, Miami's running back, we could see the Jets' defense get active with Miami on the road. And Miami, far different team when they're at home and when they're on the road.
They are. Jets just 3-3, but that's pretty good from where we all thought after Aaron Rodgers went down.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the sky's falling.
I don't think the offensive line was ever going to be good enough for them to win at all.
Yeah.
But the texture's right. That defense is.
It sure is.
I think that defense with Aaron Rodgers might have got them to AFC Championship game.
I think
that's how far I had them going.
I think you're right.
But I don't think it was win at all. And now I still don't know that they get in the playoffs. It's going to be hard to get in the AFC playoffs today. If playoffs started today, they would be 2 spots outside looking in. They would be the 9 and 7 teams get in. So that would be 2 from the East, Miami and Buffalo, with Jets and New England outside looking in.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, this NFL season has been really
Texture
fun
makes
to
a good
watch.
point.
Really good point.
And I did. I had Green Bay. I'm sorry, Green Bay. That's Rodgers' slip there. I had the Jets. I had the Jets as the 2 seed, but
sure,
not
I had them right around there.
But losing in the semifinals to Cincinnati in the AFC.
I like it. Switching gears a little bit to the NBA, because we did get some news from the Grizzlies PR team for tomorrow night's game. We have our injury report for tomorrow night's game against the Pelicans. We already knew Steven Adams would be out. We knew Brandon Clark would be out. We knew John Morant would be out with his suspension. But a new name on the injury list today. This came out about 30 minutes ago while we were talking to Bo. Santi Aldama is going to miss tomorrow night's game with a right ankle sprain. This post from Grizzlies PR says Aldama suffered a mild right ankle sprain in practice and is considered day to day. So tomorrow night, at least, that front court's going to be very slim for the Grizzlies.
Man, it's a big one tomorrow night, not just because it's opening night, but come March, April, that head-to-head will matter.
Absolutely. When you look at the front court you're going to be going up against, you're going to go up against Jonas Valanciunas, which we know firsthand how good of a center Jonas Valanciunas is, and then I guess healthy at this point, Zion Williamson. So you're going to be going up against 2 pretty big guys in the front court, at least the starters, and you're going to be pretty skinny down there.
At the end of the season, how many games will Zion Williamson appear in?
Probably same old. I mean, I'm curious. I don't even know what does he average right now per season.
Wouldn't be much.
Let's see.
I think if he played in 60 games, they would be ecstatic.
I think so too. So 3 seasons, 24 his first season, 61 his second season, 29 last year.
They sure take 60.
I mean, 60. You're throwing a parade almost.
Well, they like to throw parades down there.
They do like throwing parades,
and they would in that case. I think we're tomorrow at this very time we're going to have all the predictions: East, West, seedings, playoffs, Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, all that to figure out where New Orleans and Memphis finish, especially with all this news concern around the Grizzlies. It's hard.
Yeah, it really is.
That top of the West is pretty easy.
Yeah, and you're seeing.
And I went through in my my top story of the day.
Yeah, because you're going to see pretty much all of them play tonight in this in the opener on TNT tonight. But it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to get into those picks tomorrow. But for Zion, I was just looking at the stats, and I mean that 1 year he played 61 games, averaged 27 points and 7.2 rebounds. I mean, that is a huge difference for that New Orleans team if he's healthy and can give you 60 or so games a year.
Yeah, if he can, and that's the
big if,
biggest word around him. With that, Anthony Davis.
Same thing.
The availability is the best ability.
Yeah, Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so it seems like with both of these guys, really, the best part of the season's the very beginning because you know they're going to be healthy, and then after that, it's just kind of a question mark. And you look at Anthony Davis, 56 games last year, 40 games the year before, 36 the year before that. So I mean,
always something.
Always something with him. It's a lot of injuries, and so, I mean, that's another good one, another big center that could be missing some time. But I'm excited for these games tonight in the NBA. Only 2. We'll kind of get the full slate tomorrow, but it'll be a lot of fun to watch. We're just jumping from one sport to another, but we didn't get into this earlier when we were talking baseball, but it does look like Bob Melvin will be announced as the skipper for the San Francisco Giants. So going from San Diego to San Francisco, what do you think about this hire?
Well, it feels like pretty much of a retreat a little bit for the Padres. They're out there just spending money right and left. Everything looked like it was going to be easy for them. They hadn't won anything with him. And when they gave him permission to talk to San Francisco, I mean, that was goodbye, good luck. And I bet you they try to take a pretty steep discount on field manager, and we know around the sport the devaluing of the manager. But I look up in these playoffs, and I know Dusty Baker really mattered, Bruce Bochy really mattered, and I think John Schneider, 2-year body of work, may be the best since his first day of taking over with the Phillies. So I don't get the whole devaluing of managers. Now Mike Schultz, third base coach for Arizona, right?
Yes.
And Dave McKay, first base coach for the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah,
that's 2 Cardinal people. One was manager of the Cardinals, but he was fired.
Yeah, I mean, and now what happens with the Cardinals and their, well, I mean, I guess you go into next year with Ali. They've already kind of said that, but then, I mean, how long is he? How long is he there? I mean,
and we wait on Dusty Baker news. I'm going to bring this up again, but I wanted to now. Dusty Baker made his Major League Baseball debut September 7th, 1969. He is truly the Forrest Gump of baseball. He's been around for it all.
Yes.
On the day of his debut in the Brave starting lineup, Hank Aaron, Hall of Famer, Joe Torre, Hall of Fame manager, and Phil Necro, Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yeah.
And Terry Francona's dad pinch hit that day, Tito Francona.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Dusty Baker saw it all.
He saw it all.
And it took me a long time to appreciate him, to like him. I liked him a lot better when he wasn't manager of the Cubs or the Reds.
Sure.
I liked him a lot better in other places. But he's one of the Warhorse winners of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those names in baseball that, I mean, even if you're not a diehard baseball fan, if you're just a casual or really aren't even a baseball fan, I mean, you know the name Dusty Baker. I mean, he's just been around, like you say, he's been around for a long time. He's reached kind of those heights.
He did
of
the
the
Astros
game.
a great job coming in and around all that controversy.
It's what they
when
needed.
They were just. It's absolutely what they needed, and they were just reviled figures of sport.
Yeah.
I thought some of it was a little overdone, like this Michigan stuff. I wonder where they go. Any chance they would do the unthinkable and bring A.J. Hinch back?
Oh, no shot. There's no way.
Yeah, just too many, not just fingerprints on it, but I mean.
The whole thing.
Palm prints,
everything. Yes, I don't think they're going to do that. But, I mean, hey, you never know. That is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on because it's the Houston Astros. I mean, we've seen what they've done even after that cheating scandal and winning it all last year, getting this far this year. I mean, they've got the pieces
Red Sox
in place.
brought back Cora after they were implicated in it.
Yeah, you're right. So
took a while off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you're right. It's going to be interesting, but that's going to be a huge job that I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to interview for.
Yeah, the Astros. That's a good team.
Sure is.
That got denied, not going to advance any further. And same the case tonight with the Diamondbacks against the Phillies. How's your hockey Red Channel going?
Well, Brett, I think we're still just with one game.
Is that it?
So we've got to wait a little bit. I think the second game starts.
Red zone. How's that going to work?
Minutes. I don't know.
How do they know they're close to scoring?
Brett, I was talking to.
I never know when they're close.
Yeah, I never either. I was talking to one of my buddies who's a big hockey guy, and we kind of we theorized that maybe what they do is, they've got the control center, they've got all the screens going, they see a goal, and then they play back. So you're more watching a replay of them scoring.
So it's not red zone, it's highlight zone.
Straight live. Yeah, but I mean, it's so hard because red zone, they're in the red zone. I mean, I remember when basketball tried this. Yeah. I remember when basketball tried this like last year or 2 years ago, and it was just, it was a mess. And so I'm hoping it's not as much of a mess, but we'll see what happens.
I'm checking now to see if I have the NBA League Pass freebie for the next few nights.
Good question.
I'm on League Pass Mix now. Nothing on it. Zip.
Well, we'll have to.
That's not a good sign, is it?
That's something we're going to have to monitor over the next couple of days, I guess.
We've got to keep an eye on everything going on at All-Star Chevrolet for the rest of this month because it's a great time of year with the holidays coming up and football, and it's Chevy truck season at All-Star. First exit when you pass into Mississippi on Highway 78, Kraft Goodman Road, that's your exit. First one, you're there, and that's where you can find a new Silverado. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, they have the deals that will save you big money and your good credit. It deserves that. Financing as low as 0%. No payment for 90 days. That stretches you into 2024. Plus, you get $1,000 back in cash in All-Star with all the Silverados for all the fall road trips, tailgating, footballing, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, bowl season. Timing could not be better. Come to Olive Branch and drive a new Tahoe, Arch Reverse if you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned All-Star. They're loaded with Camaro convertibles, a Suburban, a Lexus. If it's not on the lot, just ask Jeff and they'll find what you want. Also, talk to Jeff and Kevin, and every time I talk to them, they want me to thank you for bringing your cars and trucks to All-Star to sell for big cash. You can get your check today, tomorrow for great money, even if you didn't buy it at All-Star, and even if you still owe money against it. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or South Haven or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today, and that new road is great. Or go to allstarautogroup.com.
So the Sporting News already has a story up. 5 candidates to replace Dusty Baker as the next manager for the Astros. The 3 that jump off to me, A.J. Hinch in there in this story as a replacement. Same thing like you said.
I'm not shocked.
Red Sox brought back Alex Cora. Don Mattingly, who's right now the bench coach with the Blue Jays. And how about this, Brett? Buck Showalter.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, now all 3 of those names are
I know
down
how it
the list.
ends with Buck, or rather how it doesn't end.
Yeah.
It never ends in a parade.
Hey, Brett, I know how it starts, though. A
Yeah,
lot of
starts
hype,
great.
a lot of money, and a lot of promise, and then not a lot of
And then he gets
delivering.
on everybody's nerves.
That's right. You're right. But, hey, we'll see what happens. That is going to be a really fun job to keep an eye on and see what they do there in Houston. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show, Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep, that means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE 678 6055, MSRP 21610, Nero P501 7859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P501 7859, MSRP 49687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass. East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it, East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, I really learned it yesterday, but I wasn't able to get it in. I was reminded of it this morning. Topgolf has announced they will open their Memphis location this Friday, October 27th. It also sounds like they might add mini golf. For those who don't know what Topgolf is, I'm sure you know what it is, but you get out there, it's just basically a driving range. You hit targets, they've got drinks, they've got food, they've got TVs. It's really fun to go to. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. Now we've got one here in Memphis, and it opens up on Friday.
Have you been? So you have been to one?
I've never been to one.
I never have been to one either. What I learned today is Brock Purdy, the new Jeremy Lin. Brock Sanity already over. Kirk Cousins thoroughly outplayed him last night, 378 yards, 2 touchdowns. Before we make Brock Purdy Joe Montana, maybe we need to make sure he's just Jimmy G. 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for over 2,000 yards this year for Kirk Cousins. Everyone keep ripping him, but he plays right on. I love how they love on Justin Herbert and Dak Prescott and rip Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I don't get it, but he was unbelievable last night. What I could have done without is this Chris Olave story that came out yesterday. He was arrested for reckless operating of a motor vehicle while driving 35 miles over the speed limit. It was being reported that he was going 70 in a 35, which is insane. I'm just so tired of seeing these stories. I mean, we all remember Henry Ruggs and what happened there. Now, that was 10 times worse because it ended up with a woman losing her life. But you would think that other guys in the league, other people, just people in general would see this and say, I don't want to make those same decisions. But it does sound like Chris Olave was very cooperative with law enforcement, and he was processed and released last night. But just a scary situation. I'm glad it didn't end in tragedy like the Henry Ruggs story did. But Chris Olave, you've got to do better than that.
Could have done without either of those managers having to lose, but someone did, and it was sad to see sad Dusty Baker last night, and quite possibly the end of his career. 74 years old, and that's old for baseball. It's not for being the majority leader of the United States Senate or being president, but it's old for managing baseball.
That's right. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to 2 nights in a row, Game 7 tonight in South Philly. Arizona trying to quieten the best crowd in baseball. Then off Wednesday and Thursday before Game 1 of the World Series Friday night in Arlington.
Brett, beam me in front of my TV because we've got Frozen Frenzy tonight on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN+, a Red Zone-style broadcast, whip-around coverage of every game. All 32 teams are playing tonight, 16 games. They're all staggered, 15-minute intervals by start time. Should be a heck of a night of hockey.
Ranger Suarez going tonight for the Phillies to face the Rangers potentially in the World Series. New Mexico State can get bowl eligible tonight, undefeated Liberty at Western Kentucky. I'm going to watch mostly college football and baseball tonight.
Yeah, it should be a fun night. We've also got those 2 NBA games to kick off the regular season on TNT, but that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Ready to unlock your home's potential? A huge sale has up to 50% off retail at Everything's Yours Appliances with 2 convenient locations in Mississippi, 7095 Hacks Cross Road, Olive Branch, and 8478 Highway 178 West in Byhalia. Invest in new appliances knowing you got a great deal. Everything's Yours Appliances has no credit financing available with low down payment and delivery. Everything's Yours Appliances has all major appliances and name brands. Hurry to Everything's Yours Appliances, where customers are number one.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255.